Controversial policing bill passed the Commons vote, but what does this mean for our right to peacefully protest? Well, supposedly it just means the police can more easily manage the level of disruption protests make. In reality, of course, it means you can get arrested if you've misused an apostrophe on your placard. This is some of the most draconian crackdowns on the right to peacefully protest in my lifetime. Yet the government says it's just about making sure protests aren't too loud. You know, so from now on it should just be, what do we want? An end to violence against women. When do we want it? Oh, you know, when you can manage, when you got a minute. Sorry. If you can't be heard, you can't change things. If you can't disrupt things, they stay the same. Imagine a government so afraid of its people, it takes away their freedom to protest, the freedom for people to express their opinion. But this dystopian gutting of our rights and freedoms is coming at us from all directions, the left and the right. Because on top of the policing bill, last week, the Scots were given a new Scottish hate crime bill. Problem with the Scottish hate crime bill is it's called a hate crime bill, which means if you speak out against it, it's like you're going, whatever happened to good old-fashioned gay bashing? But it's not, right? I'm not, obviously. But there are aspects to the new Scottish hate crime bill that means normal people who don't hold an extreme view in their body could end up in prison because someone found what they said offensive, separate from context and intent. In England, our hate speech laws aren't far behind. Offence is in the eye of the beholder. I was offended is enough to launch a police investigation. I was offended can be sufficient evidence to convict. Someone offers an opinion that offends you, then you're potentially the victim of a crime. But, you know, who needs the law when you have Twitter? Our very own judge, jury and executioner, one errant joke, one unfashionable opinion aired, retweeting the wrong person, and your career can be over. In 24 hours, it's gone. Well, but it's not cancel culture, it's consequences culture. The consequence being, you're finished. Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan hasn't been cancelled, Tim. He's uncancelable. He'll be fine. Book sales through the roof, the face of GB News before the end of the month. But he is an interesting case in point, right? Okay, Piers Morgan called a Hollywood actress worth millions who married into royalty a liar. Now, of all the things Piers Morgan has said, done, or looks like, this is the thing people get offended by. Seriously? 41,000 people complained to Ofcom, including Meghan herself. I know it's lockdown, but what are these 41,000 people doing watching GMB if they hate Piers Morgan so much? Why is Meghan Markle watching Good Morning Britain? What's going on? Piers Morgan thinks Meghan Markle is a liar. Does he or does he not have the right to air that opinion? But it was the way he said it. It's Piers Morgan. And who cares? Who cares? He has an opinion, and you have an opinion about his opinion. Good for you. Everyone has an opinion about it. Everyone has an opinion about Meghan's interview, even if the opinion is, I couldn't give a shit. You have an opinion about it. You have an opinion about it. The man rifling through the bins over there, he probably doesn't have an opinion about it. Maybe he does. I don't know. We should vox pop him after this. Everywhere I look, I see a cancel culture in action. I see newsreaders resigning over tweets of Shakespeare quotes that have deliberately been taken out of context. I see comedians apologizing for 10, 20-year-old jokes. I see people hurling words like racist and Nazi at people who vote differently to them. Actors accused of bigotry for playing roles of different sexual orientations and genders and disabilities. Basically, every Oscar winner before about 2 years ago is now problematic. I see a culture that eschews redemption or forgiveness. I see armies of keyboard warriors with their caps lock on overdrive. The witchfinder generals, they never went away. They just got themselves a decent broadband connection. And yet the left are gaslighting themselves about this. Liberals tell us the culture war is a fiction, whereas I see it every day in The Guardian and The Telegraph. The argument seems to be if you believe in cancel culture, you're probably a right-wing arsehole. If you believe in the culture wars, you're probably a right-wing arsehole. The irony being, by saying just that, you are yourself engaging in and contributing to the very same culture war that you pretend doesn't exist. You fuel the fire of the very thing you pretend doesn't exist by pretending it doesn't exist. When you say cancel culture is a myth, you're creating a myth. Do we have the right to air our opinions or don't we? En masse or individually? In public within reason and in private with no holds barred? In protest or in solidarity? Online or in person? Do I have the right to express opinions that the government or other people might not like without fear of arrest or losing my job? The Human Rights Act says I do. This policing bill and the Scottish hate crime bill says I don't. They are two sides to the same coin, and if you're up in arms about one of them, you should be up in arms about both of them. Our rights and freedoms they're being chipped away in front of our very eyes, and people are moaning about having to wear a fucking piece of cloth across their face in Londis. Well, the passing of this bill comes just days after police controversially arrested people on